This is not a court, and this is not a criminal hearing, but 346 people died in 2 crashes of Boeing 737 MAX planes that should not have been certified to fly by the FAA. I said at a hearing earlier this year, something went wrong in the certification process of this plane. Either the FAA certification process itself is at fault, Boeing is at fault in their role in the process, or both. After I made this statement, I was upbraided by some in the industry for questioning the process. But this committee has a responsibility to get to the bottom of what went wrong in the certification process for the 737 MAX. So we can make changes to that process and assure the public, especially those in this audience and everyone who lost loved ones, assure them that they will not be flying in unsafe planes again. Now, we're sitting here and we heard about accountability. I'm not sure what accountability means. If accountability means, Mr. Muilenburg, you received a $15 million bonus after these planes crashed. I'm not sure who's been held accountable here for this. 2 planes crashed, even after the first plane crashed. I still don't really understand how you have, I'm an engineer, but I'm asking a lot of questions back here, people who are more expert than me. I don't understand how you had a single point of failure. Chairman DeFazio went through that, but it was raised, as the chairman mentioned. There's also another case, there was a internal ethics complaint that alleged that a engineer said that recommended the synthetic airspeed system be put in, which is in the 787 Dreamliner, and was rebuffed because of, quote, cost and potential pilot training impact. Mistakes being made is, a lot of reasons mistakes are made. The problem, the bigger problem, if mistakes were made for financial reasons, and there's a lot of things that seem to point to that in this whole process, and that's what is so concerning. And how did that happen in Boeing? How did Boeing allow that to happen? How did the certification process allow that to happen? In order to get a new type certificate, it takes generally a longer amount of time. I mean, I think most people will agree, Mr. Hamilton, it takes a longer amount of time. It also risks having, most likely you're gonna have to require pilot training. So all these point back to ways of saving money. And that is a big problem. How do we stop that? Now I wanna ask, the JADR team found that MCAS was not evaluated, and this is something I was listening to Senate testimony yesterday, Mr. Muilenburg, and you didn't seem to agree with this. I'm gonna get what you say here. JADR team found that MCAS was not evaluated as a complete and integrated function in the certification documents that were submitted to the FAA. Is that true?
Congressman, the MCAS system was certified with the FAA.
Was it evaluated as a complete and integrated function, or was it step-by-step without ever having the FAA look at it as a complete and integrated system? Because that's what's the important piece of this.
I think what the JADR report points out, and this is an area where we support further looks as well, is when we think about what we call cross-system integration and how we do certification of that. So, for example, a multiple failure mode analysis, high pilot workload conditions. We do think that's an area where we want to look more deeply. The MCAS system and the MAX were certified to our current standards for how we do those analyses. But as the JADR points out,
it was a completely different. It was a very different system. I think that's very, very important. It's something that FAA should have required. I think it should have been provided. But in my last few seconds here, I want to ask: as the 737 MAX re-enters service, will Boeing require airlines to conduct simulator training on MCAS for all pilots?
Congressman, those decisions are the purview of the regulatory authorities around the world, and we will respect.
Will Boeing lose